Hi. So, welcome, Charlotte. Thank you for giving up your time today. So we're just going to do some brief introductions. So my name is Katie and I work for the Be Smoke Free service as the Community and Employment Engagement Officer. So what my role entails is I work with organisations and stakeholders like Healthwatch in promoting our service, making them aware of relevant referral pathways, how to refer in, what the service offers, and I attend a lot of community events again to really drum up business for our service. So that's a little bit about what I do. Charlotte, what can you tell us a little bit about your role within Be Smoke Free?
Yeah, of course, Kate. So my name's Charlotte. I'm one of the tobacco specialist nurses for Be Smoke Free Manchester, and I'm also the nurse manager of Be Smoke Free. So I basically deliver the clinics and also run the service for Be Smoke Free.
Fab. So we're here today on behalf of Healthwatch, and I'm just going to ask Charlotte some questions about a little bit about the service, about how we can help people, anybody that's watching this video. And of course, if anybody has got any questions, then please do feel free to contact us on social media or give us a ring or drop us an email. But I think we're going to cover quite a bit in just a few short questions. So the first question that I'm going to ask you, Charlotte, is what advice would you give to men reading this who want to take the first step to quitting smoking?
Well, first of all, the first thing that I'd probably say to men that are trying to obviously starting to think about quitting smoking is you're thinking the right thing. Quitting smoking is going to be the most important thing that you can do for your health. And I know that we might sound a little biased coming from Be Smoke Free Manchester, but it really, really is. And all the research supports that. The first thing that I would say is find yourself a bit of support. Whether that's through a service such as that or making sure that your friends and family are aware that you want to quit smoking. And of course, being realistic, setting realistic goals. Changing habits around smoking is a massively important thing as well. So just knowing what to expect is a really important thing when you're coming to quit smoking. But getting yourself into a service and getting a little bit of help with everything is going to be one of the biggest things that you can definitely do first.
Fab, thank you, Charlotte. And I think, yeah, we're a really supportive team here as well, aren't we, at Be Smoke Free? So we kind of say, don't we, no obligation, just come and have a chat with us. And that might be, giving us a quick ring, coming to see us at a community event, whatever you feel comfortable with. But it is kind of a no obligation service. But even just having that chat can be really good, can't it, Charlotte, to take that first step.
Yeah. Just to get something like what to expect as well and get a little bit of information about it can sometimes be the first step to setting on a really successful quit as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlotte. So the next question that I'm going to ask you as a nurse is, what are some of the main benefits of quitting smoking?
Right, well, of course, we all know, I think a lot of with a lot of the information out there about smoking, especially in the media at the moment, is it's going to affect your lungs, it's going to affect your heart, it's going to affect your brain. It affects pretty much every part of your body in mostly a negative way. Some of the things that maybe a lot of men especially don't really think about is it affects any kind of small capillaries in your body a lot more than it affects the big vessels over time. So that can mean things like impotence. It can mean things like if you're trying to conceive a child, it can cause sperm motility issues. On top of that, it has mental health effects, so it increases cases of anxiety and depression, especially with the focus on men's mental health very recently. That's obviously a very important thing that we need to be conscious of when we continue to smoke. So quitting is going to obviously limit those factors and make them a little bit easier to deal with. And of course, things like lung cancer, instances of stroke and heart attack, and of course heart attack being one of the biggest killers of men, especially over 50 in the world, not even just in the UK. So quitting smoking is going to be not only the biggest thing for your health, but the biggest thing for your mental health and the biggest thing for you in general, to make sure that we're living a healthy life and a long one, hopefully. So yeah, there are lots and lots of benefits of quitting smoking, but those would just be some of the key ones.
Yeah, and that was really great. Thank you, Charlotte. And I think as well, just Charlotte's kind of looked at that from a health perspective as a health practitioner, but kind of some work that I've been doing, especially with the impact of the cost of living crisis, the impact that quitting can have on your wealth. So I know today, you know, you can be paying up to kind of £15, £16 for a packet of cigarettes in a shop. And when you do the maths, if you're smoking 20 a day, you're spending over £300 a month on cigarettes. And especially at the minute, you know, when things are a little bit difficult for everybody financially, bills are going up, standard of living, cost of living's increasing, quitting could make such a difference, couldn't it, to your finances? And it's about, you know, if you do quit, go and treat yourself to something nice to celebrate. If it's going to your favourite coffee place, if it's going to the cinema, if it's going to your favourite restaurant, or buying that bag that you've wanted or that top you've wanted for ages, just go and do it and celebrate that success. So yeah, that's something we really big up, isn't it, Charlotte? Like health and wealth, the benefit of both, which I think is really important to consider. Thank you. Next question I'm going to ask you, Charlotte, is what would you say to anyone struggling to quit or in a cycle of stopping smoking, then starting again, stopping, starting? What would you say about that?
The first thing I'd probably say is you're not alone. Most people will find that it takes around 7 times to quit before they actually manage to stick with it and quit on the long term. So you're not the first and you won't be the last that will, you know, have been through a quit before or try to give up smoking in some kind of way, whether that's with support or with medication or anything in the past. So you're not the first one. And definitely won't be the last that will do that. However, the thing to remember is there's no better time to start quitting smoking than right now. We can all say, oh, I should have done it here and there and the other way, but it doesn't always work that way. And especially if you don't have that support, it can be really, really hard to do so. So I think sometimes there's a lot of barriers in place when you've struggled to quit in the past, or if you've managed to quit and then ended up relapsing for whatever reason. There can be a lot of barriers in place making you think like, oh, I don't want to go through that again, or well, I'm probably just going to relapse again. But the important thing is even harm reduction, even doing a few months where you're smoke free is still going to be a massive improvement to your health and your life. So while we are a quitting service and we would always recommend that you get completely smoke free, even if you spend some time smoke free over Christmas to save some money, you're still making a massive benefit. So there's no contracts, there's no reason why you would have to feel, oh gosh, the nurse is going to shout at me if I continue smoking. We're very understanding and we're very non-judgmental at Be Smoke Free. So I think the best thing I can say is give it a try. Come with us, have a look at what we've got, have a little chat with one of our lovely nurses and just see how you get on. And I think you'd be surprised how successful you can be if they just give it a go and find something, especially if they find a medication or a product that works for them, how much easier it can be than just trying to do it yourself. So.
Yeah, I think that's great. Thank you, Charlotte. And I think as well, we always try to encourage, don't we? You know, it's kind of Mondays can be a really good day to say, right, I'm going smoke free from Monday, just because you've got that fresh week, you're in that fresh mindset, you know, new week, new goals and wanting to stick to them. So there's never really been a better time, really, has there? You know, after the festivities have finished, getting in that zone of, right, it's January, it's a new year, this is the year that I'm going to be smoke free.
Absolutely, 100%.
Fab. Thank you, Charlotte. So the next question I'm just going to ask you is, how could Be Smoke Free, the service, how can we support people over the treatment period?
Of course, yeah. So Be Smoke Free are a 12-week treatment service. So for 12 weeks, you'll have completely free products, medication, and also behavioural support from a registered nurse that is a tobacco addiction specialist. So you start off with us, you'd have a nurse assessment. We would run through your medical history, we'd run through your smoking history, and we'd get that. And we'd used obviously those questions and answers to work out the strengths and products available to you that would be suitable for you. During that time, those medications are delivered straight to you. You can have face-to-face appointments or you can have telephone appointments, whichever one you prefer. I know some people like the face-to-face person-led approach, but some people like to have a phone call, and that's absolutely fine as well. And we can facilitate both of those things. Once you get in service with us and you find a product or a medication that you like, we do things as a combination therapy as well, which is just a fancier way of saying that we give you 2 products at once, so you can try a multitude of different things, which comes back to what I was saying before about if you've tried things in the past, we can always change you over to new things. We're very flexible on medication and products as well. So if you find something and we start you on chewing gum and you're not keen on it, we can always swap you over to something that suits you a little bit better as well. So we provide not only the medication, but the support that goes along with it. Now, the behavioural support can come in the forms of 2 weekly phone calls. It can come in motivational text messages. It can also come in just speaking to someone on the other end of the phone that understands what you're going through, that's going to be able to give you advice, give you tips and tricks to hopefully make that habit changing a little bit easier, and hopefully take the edge off those cravings and give you a little bit of help with it, because it's hard enough giving up smoking at the best of times, but with the state of the world at the minute and with everything that's going on, it's a very stressful time, and no one's more understanding than our nurses of that, because we do hear about it from everyone. So I think it's a lot easier to do it with someone else on the other end of the phone who understands what you're going through and can hopefully give some useful advice to make it a bit easier for you.
Yeah, definitely. And just to kind of touch on what Charlotte said there, I think that is something that we kind of, it's one of our strong points, isn't it? Kind of how supportive we are as a service and things like that. And in terms of the NRT, Charlotte, do you sometimes think it's best for people to combine a couple of methods? So, you know, you might be on a patch and also have a vape and things like that.
So when I mentioned combination therapy, and that's what we usually recommend, it does tend to work a little bit better, at least that's what the research says as well, to have a long-term product and a short-term product at the same time. So whether that is a long-term product is usually either a 16-hour or a 24-hour patch. You wear that through the day, it gives you a low level of nicotine just to help combat the withdrawal, make sure that you're not having headaches or getting very irritable with people, which a lot of people worry about when they give up smoking. And then, of course, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter where you are, you've always got a bit of nicotine to help make things easier. And then when you get to those times of day, as we've mentioned, habits and things in the past, a lot of people can't turn up the kettle without obviously having a cigarette. So if you tend to be that type of person, we would give you another product, which can be chewing gum, lozenges. We also offer vapes, so e-cigarettes, that can be used as well in a combination with the patch to hopefully be there. So if you do get to those times of day where you'd normally have a smoke, you've got something else to reach for to take the edge off that craving and make it easier to deal with as well.
Yeah, I think you made some really good points there, Charlotte, and I think something that we really kind of encourage, don't we, as a service, is things like if you have patches and a vape, for example, about just setting yourself with them boundaries, because that will help with your quit journey as well, won't it, in terms of using your vape in a boundaried way as and when you would feel the urge to smoke. So yeah, no, that was great, Charlotte, thank you so much. And the last question that I'm going to ask you, Charlotte, is how might someone benefit from one-to-one support as opposed to just doing it on their own, going cold turkey? What would you recommend in regards to that?
I think the first thing I'll say, I mean, I've touched on it a little bit in the previous questions, and talking about kind of how obviously having that one-to-one behavioural support, having someone on the other end of the phone that understands what you're going through and can give tips and tricks is going to make it a lot easier for anyone, and I think that's obvious. But also the research that comes out about quitting smoking, you are 4 times more likely to quit in a service such as ours than if you were just trying to obviously give up on your own. And Be Smoke Free specifically is very successful. So at the moment, our 4-week quit rate is around 60%. So if you join us and 4 weeks in, you set yourself a quit date, within 4 weeks of setting that quit date, 60% of people will be smoke free. And that is obviously completely off cigarettes, and won't have had one in the previous 2 weeks up to that. And by the end of the 12-week treatment program, if you set yourself a quit date and you're at the 12-week treatment program date and haven't managed to lose us in some way, then the quit rate is closer to 82 or 83%, I think it is. So it's very, very successful. And if you come with us, join us, get some products and stick with it, then 80% of the people who do that will be smoke-free by the end of 12 weeks. Which in the grand scheme of things, when we think of how long people have been smoking for, 12 weeks doesn't sound like that long of a time when you put it in comparison. So it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, thank you, Charlotte. And I think them figures, they kind of speak for themselves, don't they? In terms of kind of, it speaks volumes about sort of just the difference that that support can make, and, you know, not going through it on your own. And I think that is something that, again, we're really passionate about, isn't it? Motivating people, championing people with the successes, the small successes, the big successes. And just having somebody there, I think, to motivate you and to be your cheerleader when you are trying to quit smoking for good, it can really make a difference, can't it?
Absolutely. And I think one thing I would say as well about Be Smoke Free is, while we are obviously a 12-week treatment service, there's no limit to the amount of times that you can come back to us. So if you do find that you give up smoking with us, you do really, really well, or even the opposite, and you join us and something happens where we all know that we're all human and things happen in our lives that maybe cause us to put quitting smoking on a back burner, you're always welcome to come back to us and either restart your quit attempt or start a new one with us to hopefully join again. We also do 52-week checkups, so when you set your quit date with us, you'll finish after the 12 weeks, but a year after you set your quit date, you'll receive a text message or a phone call off Be Smoke Free asking you how you're doing, obviously checking up that you're still doing well, and if not, or if you've relapsed for whatever reason, or even if you're just finding it really hard, then you can always come back to us as well and have another 12-week treatment program with us. So it's not just kind of a 12-week and we're like, right, that's you. We do allow people to come back and have that connection with someone else for a very long time if they feel like they require it. So I think that's really important as well.
Thank you, Charlotte. That was great. So I think that's everything in terms of the questions that I've got to ask you today. So thank you so much, Charlotte, for giving up your time, you know, in your clinic to answer those questions for me. And yeah, anybody that's watched this video, if you have got any questions, we are on social media. If you Google Be Smoke Free Manchester, you will find our contact details. So please do feel free to reach out, ask us any questions, any queries you might have. Our self-referral form can be accessed online. But I think the only thing I've got left to say to anybody watching that's now thinking about, you know, giving it a go is good luck. You know, don't give up. It's about perseverance. We know it's not easy, and if it was easy, we all wouldn't have these jobs. But yeah, just keep at it, you know, keep motivated, keep focused, and we are here to guide you through this journey and support you through it.
Absolutely. And same for me, pretty much. I think anyone who's watching this that is thinking of quitting smoking, it's the best time to do it. We're all here ready to support you as soon as you're ready to come to us. So just wish them good luck and hope they get in touch with us. So Google us and come find out.
Thank you for your time, Charlotte.
Oh, thanks very much, Kaya.